We're back. Rocking some just random stuff. Hit up some Netflix series.
Kind of the good old, this one today.
Yeah, we picked Clever Man, which is a one-season series,
Original
6
series.
episodes. It's got created by an Australian studio.
Netflix original.
We
Didn't know much about it.
no.
Hadn't really heard about it. Hadn't really. It looked
Like I said,
interesting.
we picked it random, basically.
It looked interesting. We thought, let's try her out.
The premise of the story is that a separate species of humanity has been discovered that lives alongside human beings for thousands of years. But they just came forward and were discovered as another species about 6 months before the show starts. And they call them, the slang is Harries, because they're sort of Bigfoot-esque.
Like almost like
They're
a
human beings.
little Neanderthal-esque.
Yeah, they're a little Neanderthal-esque, but they all have...
They're faster and stronger, and some have other abilities that we really kind of haven't really
It
dove
doesn't
into
explain.
yet. This is one of those shows that we've had before where things necessarily aren't laid out very clearly at the beginning.
There's about 100 plots, and they're all like...
And granted, most of them are connected. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is at the beginning, you're like, what? This reminded me a little bit of the beginning of Sense8,
Yeah.
where we were just like, what? What? The first episode also seemed like it took forever. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it was like 3 hours long.
Yeah,
I'm
it
pretty
definitely
sure.
was really, really long. And we got, what, into 4? 3 or 4? 4.
4 episodes, I think.
Watch 4 in, there's only 6. I mean, really, we could have probably finished it, but we will. Because I'd like to see how this ends if they're going to do another season. I don't know how popular this is. Netflix doesn't release any of that information. But, it is,
I don't think it was a Netflix original.
I thought it was.
I don't think it was.
Oh, well, I might have been wrong with that. But we'll make sure. And,
Regardless,
Yeah.
the premise of the story is, if you've ever seen Section 9, it's similar to where humanity has discovered this separate species and they have segregated them in this area where they basically live in really awful conditions. And the whole thing is about the politics and the racial thing, and
it's a very race-driven
the
series.
underlying story is about these two brothers who their uncle, the one who took care of them from a young age, because the dad died early, and there were 2 separate mothers, so they're half brothers, and they had a crazy drunken uncle. But the crazy drunken uncle, who
There was a lot more to him than what people expected.
was a clever man, is what they call it, which is sort of a shaman, but he's got weird psychic voodoo powers.
And they're known because they have 2 different colored pupils.
Yeah. Anyway, so the whole thing is you've got the plot of the government versus the Harries. You've got the plot of these 2 brothers who are at loggerheads.
Even though we didn't know that until we hear the story, we hear the referential story from the little girl talking about how the father had to choose to relieve his power to two sons, and he chose one son, and when he gave him the power, created the sun. The second son became the moon. Thus, the sun and the moon are always at battle. Is that a fair way that they said this?
Sort of. But regardless, the point is that the old crazy uncle decides to give his power when he dies to the black sheep of the family, who has basically, he's run away from the zone, which is where they keep the Harries at. And
He doesn't look like them either.
no, I don't think he is. I
don't
think he's
think he
human.
is, yeah.
But like I said, he's run away, and he is in human traffic. Like, he helps Harry's get out of the zone, but then he takes their money and then turns them into the human authorities. So he's really not a very good person.
Even though he is starting to be conflicted because of what happened on the last time.
Yeah. Anyway, so the uncle gives this, like, the black sheep his power, and it really ticks off his other brother.
Who'd been wanting to be a clever man since he was a child. Excuse me. So it really pushes that tension between them to the next level.
Yeah. So like I said, it's all of these, like, there's 3 or 4 separate subplots happening at a time. And
including the random space monster that the uncle summoned as he was going to sacrifice himself, and the monster will rip the heart out of your chest and take it.
yeah.
That's a subplot, and but it's an interesting show.
You know, like I said, it's not top tier television, but it is interesting and a pretty solid all around sort of show.
Would you agree? This seems to be more concise and coherent than Sense8 was.
Well, it's pretty hard to be less coherent than Sense8 and actually have a television show.
Sense8 was a little bit of a, I'm going to throw a dart at the board, and whatever it hits, that's going to be part of our storyline.
Yeah, this is a lot less complicated than that, but
very racially driven. If you don't like dealing with race issues, you're not going to want to watch this series.
no, this is the whole. That's the whole.
That's the
series.
whole premise.
But like I said, it's a lot like it's a lot of the same sort of story as Section 9.
Isn't it District 9?
District 9. District.
I was
9.
like, Section 9 doesn't sound right. You said it earlier, and I'm like, why does that not sound
District
right?
9.
It is District
Yes,
9.
District
I know what
9.
you're talking about.
But yes, it has a very similar, like, overall sort of togetherness. But anyway, we watched it. It wasn't bad. It was a show we'd like to finish, and I'm gonna give it a 7 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it probably is 7 and
No,
8
it's
maybe.
worth
I
an
mean,
8, but
it's,
I'm gonna say
but it's right there. It's like it's good enough that
It's
we
decent.
it's good enough we'd recommend to
It's
see
better
it.
than most things on TV.
If you've got a Sunday or a Saturday, you're not going to do anything. Find this on Netflix.
Binge it up.
Yep, pick it up and watch it. It's definitely something we'd recommend. It's a fun show. Makes you think.
It does make you think.
But we're always looking for different things. We're going to have a couple reviews up of a couple of Amazon pilots. I know there's a few movies coming out in the next few weeks, few months that we're going to be going to see. If you guys have any suggestions for Netflix series or anywhere else, and you want to see what we think, just let us know. If you like what we recommend, let us know that too. If you also watch Clever Man, let us know what you guys think. If you think some of the things that we're talking about are not necessarily where the story is going to end, but
That's going to do it for us. We'll wrap this quick, and as always, thanks for staying alive with the credits.